All right, so we've made some content on our web page. I'm just using a simple wireframe UI down here, wireframe UI on the side, and then I've just created 3 squares in the center. So there's a couple things I want to talk about. First is how to actually create a scrolling page. So right now we have a static page and the user wouldn't be able to scroll up or down or left or right. And we can change this within XD to enable scrolling to basically add more content, right? Or if they had a smaller screen, to give them more content on their screen. So the first thing I want to do is click the name of our artboard up here so that I get these handles. And then it's as simple as just dragging this out. What this is indicating is saying, hey, this is where you're going to start scrolling if you're on a 1920 by 1080 screen or whatever your artboard size is. If I keep dragging, I can extend as far as I need to for my site. So now what I could do is pull this all the way down, because this is my footer, right? And just kind of set this at the bottom of the screen. Now, what if I have an element that I want to scroll with the page? So in this case, I want this home sidebar to scroll with the page. It's very simple. On the right-hand side, I can just check the box that says fixed position when scrolling. So now, what they're going to see is this right here, and as they scroll, this home bar will just stay with it and eventually meet up with the bottom down here. I'm actually going to pull this all the way across while I'm thinking about it. So very simple, right? The last thing I want to talk about before we get into actually previewing this in the next video is how to use the repeat grid. So the repeat grid is a really great way to repeat an element over and over and over again, basically just for wireframing purposes. So let's say I want to have these 3 rectangles sort of repeated all the way down. I could select each one of them, say repeat grid, and it gives me this arrow this way and an arrow this way. If I drag this down, it starts repeating them at a fixed interval. So this is fantastic if you want to have a bunch of scrolling content on your site. If I pull this one, by the way, it does the same thing, but in that direction. So let's say I made a mock-up, just for example. I'm going to go back over here. This little card mock-up right here. Copy that. And I'm just going to undo my changes here. So let's say I was making like a social media site. I would only need to make one element. I wouldn't need to copy and paste it and copy and paste it and over again. I could just grab that one element and say repeat grid. Then pull it down. Such a powerful tool. We'll end down here. So now we have all of our content ready to go. We can say ungroup grid, and what that will do is make these individual objects. So if we want to make small adjustments, we can. So I can now move that one and break it apart from the group. But that's how the scrolling mechanics work. So if I want to fix something, most of the time you're fixing a menu bar like you did the top or the side, and how to enable, linked scrolling on the page.